Abandoned, but not broken. Some wounds don't bleed. They stay quiet, invisible. They come from empty rooms, from birthdays without phone calls, from the moment you realize it's people who were supposed to stay never did. This is not just a story about abandonment. This is a story about survival, and how one abandoned child became stronger than the pain that tried to destroy them. Was 7 years old. One silence became louder than words. It wasn't dramatic, no. Screaming, no. Final goodbye, just absence. One day, my father stopped coming home. My mother followed soon after. Not physically, but emotionally. She was there, but gone. I learned early that abandonment doesn't always mean being left behind. Sometimes it means being ignored while standing right in front of someone at school. I watched other children run into their parents' arms. I learned how to pretend it didn't hurt. When you're abandoned, you don't cry forever. You adapt. I became quiet. Independent. Too mature for my age. I learned how to cook my own meals, do my own homework. Wipe my own tears. Adults praised me for being strong, but strength wasn't a choice. It was survival. At night, I wondered, what was wrong with me? Why wasn't I enough for them to stay? Those questions followed me into adulthood. Abandonment doesn't disappear. With time, it changes shape. I grew up afraid of closeness, terrified of depending on anyone. I pushed people away. They could leave me. Love felt dangerous. Trust felt foolish. I smiled in public and broke in private. No one teaches Yahoo to grieve parents who are still alive. I hit rock bottom not because I failed, but because I was tired of surviving, tired of pretending, tired of being strong, tired of carrying a pain no one could see. One night, alone, I finally asked myself, if they never come back, who am I allowed to become? That question changed everything. Healing doesn't start with forgiveness, it starts with honesty. I admitted the truth. I was hurt, was angry, I was grieving, and I stopped blaming myself. Their abandonment-wise, not my failure. It was their limitation. For the first time, I chose to stay for myself. I started small, learning to feel. Learning to trust safe people. Learning that love doesn't always leave. I turned pain into fuel. Every doubt became motivation. Every tear became strength. I built a life never imagined for me, not to prove them wrong, but to prove myself right. One day, I realized something powerful. I was no longer chasing them, no longer waiting, no longer hoping. Their absence no longer defined me. I didn't need an apology to move forward. I didn't need closer to be free. Today, I stand whole, not because my parents stayed, but because I did. Abandonment tried to teach method I was disposable. Life taught me otherwise. If you were abandoned by parents, by love, by people who promised to stay here, you were not left behind, you were set free. Your story doesn't end where they walked away. Sometimes, separation begins the moment abandonment ends. From the outside, it looked like I was winning. I had a job, a routine, a life people admired, but success without healing still feels lonely. Every achievement carried a silent thought. If they could see me now, would they stay? I realized something painful. I was still living for the approval of people who had already left, and that meant abandonment was still controlling me. Healing took me back to the child I once was, the 7 by the door. The teenager pretending not to care, the adult afraid of being seen. I learned that abandonment freezes parts of us in time, so I went back emotionally, and I stayed with that child. I said the words no one ever said to me. You didn't deserve this. You are always enough. And something inside me finally softened. Abandonment teaches us false lessons, that love is temporary, that people always leave, that attachment is weakness. I had to unlearn all of it. Love, I learned, is not intensity, it is consistency, not promises but presence. Slowly, carefully, I allowed safe connections. And for the first time, love did not feel like fear. Forgiveness is misunderstood. It does not mean forgetting. It does not mean reconnecting. It does not mean excusing the damage. Forgiveness means releasing the grips me and has on your future. I forgave to heal them, but to free myself. They no longer lived in my decisions. I became the adult I needed as a child. Patient. Present. Emotionally available. I broke the cycle. I learned how to stay, even when things were hard, and in doing so, I discovered something powerful. The greatest revenge is not success, it is emotional freedom. I started sharing my story, quietly at first, then openly, and people came forward with the same pain, the same silence, the same invisible wounds. I realized abandonment is one of the most common and least spoken pains. By telling my story, I was giving others permission to face theirs. Family is not defined by blood, it is defined by who Staisho Listenshu chooses. You, daily I built my own. Friends who became home. Love that felt safe. A life rooted in presence. I was abandoned once, but I was never unlovable. If you are watching this and still waiting for them to come back, please hear this. Your life is not on pause. Your worth does not depend on their return. They may never show up, but you already did. And that is in to build a future stronger than your past. If this story felt personal, it's because it is shared by millions. Like the video to help this message reach someone who needs it. Subscribe for stories that will not just entertain, and comment below with one sentence: I choose to stay. Because sometimes, staying for yourself is the beginning of everything.